Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the title Old Testament, and we'll be talking about what the title means and what implications it carries for the literature itself. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, this is by no means a biblical way of describing this body of literature. It's never called Old Testament anywhere in the Bible, which is really interesting. Instead, we discover references such as Paul, who uses the phrase the holy writings or the prophetic writings to describe this body of literature in Romans 1:2 and 16:26. Also in Romans 3:21, like many other places in the Bible, they call what we've titled Old Testament the Torah and the prophets. And in some cases, just the word Torah refers to the entire book. You can see this in Psalm 1. So titling the Old Testament in this way has two primary implications for us. One, what we expect the book to be about, since titles usually imply something about the contents of the book itself. And two, what we expect the relationship to be with books of similar titles, and in our case, the New Testament, since it's the Old Testament and the New Testament that comprises our Bibles today. So a title gives us an idea of both the content of the book and its relationship to other works. However, the implications that it provides for us can either be helpful or misleading. Let's deal with the first part of the title, Old Testament. Old. In comparison to the New Testament, the Old Testament appears obsolete, unimportant, or even secondary. It gives us the impression that the Old Testament functions merely as background information to the New Testament, or it's simply a historical account or religious account of an ancient people group. In any case, the word old with the reference point new never has a solid implication. Now, with regards to the second part of the title, Testament. Testament is another word for covenant, and covenants are a big and important part of the Bible. I also think it's safe to say that the Old Covenant and the New Covenant are the two most important covenants talked about. So by calling the Old Testament Old Covenant and the New Testament New Covenant, it gives us the impression that the Old Testament is strictly about the Old Covenant, and that the New Testament is strictly about the New Covenant. And this couldn't be farther from the truth. Although the Old Testament is trying to tell us something about the Old Covenant, it's ultimately trying to move us beyond that covenant and beyond the failures of the people under that covenant to a new covenant. And in many ways, the Old Testament, as it stands apart from the New Testament writings, is already New Covenant scripture. So the title Old Testament doesn't seem to accurately reflect its literature. How then should we call it? Despite our traditions of calling it the Old Testament, which we are in fact stuck with, there are a couple alternatives that may satisfy those who are still with me at this point. The title Hebrew Bible or Hebrew Scripture are two good alternatives to the title Old Testament. For one, it's the language that the book was written in, and it also brings with it the idea of the book's threefold compositional nature. For example, in Luke 24:44, Jesus says, Moses and the prophets and the Psalms. This witnesses to the threefold shape of the Hebrew Bible. He says, Moses and the prophets and the Psalms are about me. So, Hebrew Bible or Hebrew Scripture or just simply Scripture, I think these are three great alternatives to the title Old Testament. Simply being aware of this misnomer will help safeguard ourselves from the implications that come with it, enabling us to view and understand the text of the Bible in a more accurate and open-minded way. Of similar note, the title of this channel was inspired by this idea of the word Scripture. Mikra is the Hebrew word for Scripture, and it means that which is read. It derives from the Hebrew root kara, to read. And this was important to me to have for the title of my channel because I wanted to make a channel that focuses on the text of Scripture, helping people to read and understand it for its own sake in order to discover its true and plain meaning. Thanks for watching, guys. Please leave your questions and your thoughts and your comments on this video below. Please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that bell icon. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Exploring Mikra. And if you'd like to reach out to me personally, you can do so at mikraacademy@gmail.com. All these are found in the description below. Peace, guys.